So you're thinking about going down to the Raggeds and you're up in Georgetown, or you're down in the Raggeds and you want to get back to Georgetown. And so one of the little shortcuts that people like to use is the Hog Cay Cut. And it's also kind of scary because it takes some specific planning to make sure you're going through there at the right time. And I'm going to share with you kind of some things and takeaways from our experience and what we did, so that you can kind of apply that idea or ideas as you're making your own plan. A little bit about our boat. It's a caliber 38 foot draft sailboat, 5.5 draft. So we have a 5.5 draft, which obviously going through this can be a little scary. So weather conditions. I think weather conditions are really super important. It could be a nice sailing day, but for us, we chose a day where there was pretty much flat water and no wind. And I can tell you that we were very pleased with that decision as we were going through the cut and through the shallows, because it made it a lot easier to see any of the rocks and avoid any kind of bumping off of that kind of stuff as we went through and down south. We came the other way. We came from the south going north, and I'll explain that. One other thing is the high tide and the tide charts. There's a lot of different opinions out there about which tide charts to use, an hour after Nassau, or even websites. Here on, I have 3 pictures up here. On the far right hand side, I have the tide chart that we used, and it is tide-forecast.com. We used the Georgetown high tide chart off of this website. The other high tide that we looked at, which I don't have listed here, is off of Navionics, and we were looking at Nurse Key from the Raggeds. So we compared those two, and those two lined up to be about the same. So this is what we went with. As you can see, our high tide was at 10:13 in the morning. And it was a 2.2 high tide that day. We went through right here where you see the red marker. That's when we started. We actually probably got through at exactly 9:15. So about 1 hour before is when we went through the actual cut here. The actual cut itself is not difficult to go through. Over here on the left is the Navionics with our actual tracks. If you wanted these tracks, you could email me at sailingmarley@gmail.com, and I'll be happy to share those tracks with you so you have a set of tracks. If you compare our tracks to the map in the middle here, which is the Explorer chart, you'll see that the lines they have set up here are pretty much the same. So you could follow those Explorer, and that's what we were told by multiple people, is you just stay right on top of the Explorer chart, magenta lines there, and that will guide you through as well. So an hour before high tide, we had the current, and the current was heading southwest through the cut. So we were coming into the current, which made it a little easier. If I was going the opposite direction and I was going south, I would probably wait a little closer to high tide and slack tide, basically, so that I wouldn't have current behind me and I have complete rudder control as I'm going through. Now, like I said, getting through the cut itself is pretty simple. You just follow the charts and you go through. Go here to my next picture, or my other thing here, and it's really, you really want to nail the chart for this area down here. Because this is the long shallow area, and we never saw anything less than 6.2 underneath the keel. So, or I guess 8 inches under our keel. So you go through that. It is skinny water, but it's nice white sand, and the rocks are very visible and easy to avoid. And we had Julie up on the deck, and she just made sure I moved 1 foot right or left, and we just kind of avoided anything that got in our way. Going back to the other map, you'll see right here, and then right here, it says grass. So just before you enter the cut, or just as you come out of the cut, you're going to hit this grassy area. And that's where it does get a little scary. The depth gets thrown off quite a bit by the grass in this area. So that can be a little bit of a pucker moment for you. I know it was for me as we went over, and it's not a long distance. It's only maybe 30 yards, so it's only a couple of seconds you're really over this, and the depth is jumping down. Like for me, it went down to 4.5, but never once did I feel like we touched or skipped off the bomb at all. So it was just the grass messing with the depth meter. But beyond that, I hope this helps you. I hope this gives you some tips for you to think about and for planning. And we're going to do some other anchorages and descriptions of anchorages all throughout the Raggeds, so that if this is the first time you're going to the Raggeds, give you an idea of the conditions and whatnot. So I hope you all have a great day, a great night, or whatever it is, whatever time it is that you're watching this. See you later.